Super Bowl 58 practices have officially begun in Kansas City, which means we have injury reports to get to that are official and the Chiefs having a full practice under their belt. We talk about everything the latest on the Chiefs injury report and everything they said, even though, well, it's not too much, but, well, there is somebody that may be of interest to you because, well, he was back at practice. Hood on, number 19, guy with an attitude. We'll tell you all about him, but we appreciate you taking your time out of your day here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jay Sanders, and if you want to be in the know about everything leading up to Super Bowl 58 for the Chiefs versus 49ers, well, then you're in the right spot. Make sure you're here, subscribed, and hit that bell to join the notification gang. That way, you get every single video right there on your phone notifying you, hey, there's some new breaking news for Kansas City Chiefs. I'm telling you, we got a lot of cool stuff coming out. We got live shows coming up next week with a bunch of different sound bites from Super Bowl 58. Sam going to Vegas, going to get some sound bites for us. We're going to have it right here on the Chiefs Report. Hitting that bell, make sure you're notified for every video we post, every time we're about to go live. So join the Nota gang right now. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. Let's get into the injury report. This one coming from yesterday. Now, this was a projection. No practice yesterday. Chris Jones, quad injury. Isiah Pacheco had a toe injury. Charles Omenihu, obviously, with his ACL. And Joe Thuney with a pectoral injury. All four of these guys did not practice. Again, this was yesterday's injury report. And I want to preface, it was the injury report of what would happen. There was no practice yesterday. This was just an estimation. Now, today, people were on the field. People were running around. People were doing stuff. So in theory, they did have a practice today. I don't know if it was a full practice, but there was none yesterday. Those four guys would have been non-participants if there was, though, because you're legally required to have an injury report on Wednesday. So that brings us to the question of, well then, okay, who practiced today, Jace? Who was healthy if Jones, Pacheco, Omenihu, and Thuney weren't? Well, let's talk about some of the important participants in today's practice, starting with, you guessed it, Chris Jones. It was just the one day yesterday that he would not have practiced, and he is back out on the practice field today. He looked pretty healthy in the videos that I saw, walking around, smiling. Again, kind of hard with a quad injury, and if you're questioning what happened to him, how he got injured, well, he suffered a quad injury in the AFC Championship game. I'm going to reveal a little bit here. He was tripped by Justice Hill in the end zone. We've seen the video. If you haven't, follow me on Twitter. I posted on there. He was tripped. Came up kind of gimpy. You can kind of see him grabbing his leg. There was a couple times where he was grabbing that quad. Now he had to, quote-unquote, miss a practice yesterday, but back at practice today as a limited participant. So there you go. Good to see him back out there. And obviously in the playoffs, he's been a pretty driving force. Now, I'm not going to say he's been the best guy on the defense, but at the same time, 4 tackles, a half a sack, 1 forced fumble, and 2 pass breakups. I'd say that's pretty important. And I say this all the time with Chris Jones, but I want to mention it again. Sometimes it's not just his stats. It's not just that he can get a sack at any point. It's not just that he can force fumble. He is a presence on the field. And when he is not there, you can easily feel he is not there. When he's on the field, it requires a lot more attention for the opposing offensive line. The second important participant is Isiah Pacheco. You saw him on the do not practice list for Wednesday. Well, today he is back at practice. He was there in full strength, or mostly full strength. They're saying limited capacity. From what I saw, though, he was running. He was doing most of the normal drills. Obviously, limited participant just means he had certain things that he just was not able to do. His injury, though, is still the toe injury. And I don't know what to tell you that is. Turf toe. He was fine. He came out and played in the AFC Championship. Looked pretty good. I would like him to be very healthy for the Super Bowl. In fact, probably 100%. Because in the playoffs, well, he's been maybe one of the best offensive players for the Chiefs. 250-plus yards. Averaging 4 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. The 1 fumble is a little concerning, but 1 for 3 games, we can forget about that. Plus, when you win all 3 of them. 63 carries, though, for 254, averaging 4 yards a carry. That's pretty dang good. And this is just a off-bite of what he's done the entire season. He has continued to prove time and time again that he may have been a late-round draft pick. But guess what? He was worth every single bit of it. Had an amazing this year, just shy of 1,000 yards. Would have had it if he wasn't injured for a couple weeks, along with missing the last game of the year because they were trying to keep everybody healthy. So I'm telling you, I really liked watching 10 play this year. And if you've enjoyed it watching Isiah Pacheco play, then get down, join me in the comments by typing 10 Isiah Pacheco. Bang, bang. You're going to want to go down there. 10 has been really one of the best offensive players this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. Get down there, show him some love by typing 10 for Pop. You know, you can also you can go down there and get a $100 deposit match by going to prizepicks.com/CLNS and using the code CLNS. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it's the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. You can put in this entry. I am 6 of my last 8. You're going to want to go put this one in. More than a half a passing yard for Patrick Mahomes. More than a half a rushing or receiving touchdown for Isiah Pacheco. And more than 35.5 receiving yards for Christian McCaffrey. I'm telling you, all three of those are going to hit. Pacheco scored a touchdown every single playoff game. McCaffrey, receiving back. Chiefs aren't good against those. Going to get that. And then Patrick Mahomes, have a passing yard. 99% off. That's a good deal. Go check it out. Testing my skills on PrizePicks this season has been the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And if you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. PrizePicks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts a select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. What makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app? Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the code CLNS for that first deposit match of up to $100. Shout out to PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. The next important participant is Willie Gay Jr., the linebacker who was a quote-unquote game-time decision for the AFC Championship. They called it neck stiffness. That's what they said. Well, obviously that stiffened up because there was a report on Saturday evening saying that Willie Gay Jr. was expected to play. Sunday comes, the morning report, Willie Gay's not out on the practice field. Willie Gay is out. Well, it's because that neck stiffened up again. Now, he's going to have 2 weeks plus, obviously, technically whatever he didn't play last week, to get that neck right. He was at practice today. From the videos I saw, he looked fine. He was a limited participant. I hope he plays, because ultimately, against the Ravens, the defense played really well. I'm not going to say in front here that they needed Willie Gay Jr., but against the Niners, I would like to have every single person available, no matter who it is. If you're fully healthy, you can have all your eggs in one basket for the last game of the season. The next guy, though, is maybe a different question. Kadarius Toney. He was at practice today. He was injured, I guess. I don't know. We'll tell you more about that in a second, but let's just get the full report and what Pete Thuney kind of said about it. Basically saying the Chiefs no longer list Kadarius Toney with an injury. Only on his report is personal designation. It'll be interesting to see his official status in the Super Bowl injury report later Thursday afternoon. In our brief look, Toney was without a helmet catching passes in his own warm-up of sorts, kind of by himself. Now, if you're sitting here saying, Jace, I'm confused. What's this whole thing with Kadarius Toney? He didn't play. He was injured. Yeah, I guess. But let's kind of give a recap of what exactly happened. So he has not played since Week 15 with what's been labeled as a hip/ankle injury. Labeled. He has been bad in 2023. 5 drops and costly penalties. You know which one I'm talking about. Now, he was ruled out for the AFC Championship for injury and personal reasons. Well, then, right before the AFC Championship, he went on Instagram Live, and let's just say he denied any injury allegation. Said that he was not injured, said that he was fine, said that he was playing, said that basically the Chiefs putting him on an injury report was just complete BS. Andy Reid was asked about this, said he'll be back out there, and sure enough, he is back out there. Obviously, like Thuney said, we'll get the official injury report tomorrow and kind of tell us if he's going to play or not. But I asked the question, healthy, not healthy, whatever, are you going to let him play? Let me know in the comments section down below. Would you let Kadarius Toney play? Type P for play, type S for sit. Now, I will just preface, I'm not going to say I'm on Toney's side, but remember what he did in last year's Super Bowl. The punt return that really, in some ways, elevated the Chiefs to victory. Obviously, because of how close that game was, there was almost 6 game-changing plays in that. So you can kind of take that with a grain of rice. But type P for play if you're playing Kadarius Toney. Type S for sit. Joe Thuney. Told you we were going to get some bigger updates later. Joe Thuney missed the AFC Championship game with a strained pec. Today, we got an update on him. And it's positive, I would say. This coming from Nate Taylor after Andy Reid talked about it, saying, Joe Thuney is the lone player who is not expected to practice today. Obviously, Charles Omenihu did not practice, but that was expected. Here's what what Andy Reid said about it. He's making progress. He's not counted out. This is kind of funny because doctors have gone back and forth if he has a strained pec, if he has a torn pec. But now, hopefully, you could potentially have him in the Super Bowl because I don't know about you, I want Thuney. We all saw what happened in the Buccaneers and that entire offensive line that just collapsed. I'd like to have Thuney, especially with what he's done this year. Over 1,000 snaps, 2 sacks allowed, 2 penalties, pass blocking grade of 83.4. Doctors have gone back and forth talking about if he has a torn pec, if he doesn't have a torn pec. For the longest time over the past, say, like 4 or 5 days, it was pretty clear in my eyes that he was not going to have a chance to play. I guess he has a shot now. I don't know. I mean, this was kind of weird. We saw a picture of him after the AFC Championship game, and he had a big, just like bruise across like his arm, like the pectoral area. Obviously, I don't know if that means it's torn. I don't know if that means it's strained, but he is still questionable. Now, this could be some mind games by Andy Reid trying to force the 49ers to prepare for Thuney and then say he's not going to play. But you got to love the optimism and potentially having an all-pro guard out there for you. Now, once again, we're going to have more news tomorrow on injuries. We're going to see if Kadarius Toney is going to play. We're going to see a lot of interesting things as tomorrow will be the last media look that they get before they head out to Vegas. We'll have all of the reports right here. So hit that bell to join the notification gang. That way, you know exactly when that video tomorrow comes out, and you know what is going on with the Chiefs. So click that bell, Chiefs Kingdom. I certainly appreciate you watching. And hey, Super Bowl week keeps on flying. Content keeps on rolling. Hit that sub button. And as always, Chiefs Kingdom, peace out.